Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special edition here at Get Up and Get a Job. I'm William Craig III, an AI business and career strategist. And I'm so super excited because today I've got a bunch of my friends. Oh, my goodness. Anybody got any friends? Oh, my goodness. If you don't have any friends, you need to come on over to this side. I've not only got some friends with me, but I've got friends that are fantastic at what they do. And we're going to be talking about something really, really special that's going to be taking place. And we want you to be a part of it. So here's a quick video to give you an idea of exactly what's going on. And then we're going to jump into a little bit more with my special guests. And just hang on to your seats. Matter of fact, call somebody, tell them they need to be right here on Get Up and Get a Job on this morning. And here we go.
Than 2 decades, hundreds of boot camps, seminars, workshops, and trainings, and helping thousands of entrepreneurs, speakers, trainers, coaches, and content creators. Circle of Champions 3-day Champion Speaker Bootcamp is back by popular demand. And if you want to amplify your voice and lead in the AI era, then this is the place to be. April 23rd through the 25th, 2026. We've shared the stage with hundreds of speakers from around the country and in the DMV. In fact, many of the speakers that you know in the DMV, they got their start at Circle of Champions. I'm not saying that, that's what they said. And for many of you, it's your time to speak. It's your time to amplify your voice. It's your time to lead in the AI era. And we're going to teach things at this boot camp that we have never taught before, because I am officially on fire with what's available to us now that we didn't have a decade ago. This is the best time to be alive, and you're in the right place at the right time. And I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to be a part of the Champion Speaker Boot Camp, April 23rd through the 25th. 3 powerful days, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day, and we're bringing you up-to-date, ready-to-use content that will change your life, dreams, and business. You know what time it is. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to get your message out there like only you can bring it. We're living in the best of times. It's a time when you can get paid for just being yourself. You have a story to tell that the world needs to hear. You have a message that nobody else can bring but you. You have a book or many books inside of you that no one else can write. God has given you something that only you can bring. And I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to be at the Champion Speaker Boot Camp this April. Your audience is waiting. They're waiting for you to show up. And when you show up, they'll show up. Take advantage of the early bird special and sign up today for the Champion Speaker Boot Camp and get ready to take your life, dreams, and business to the next dimension. This is going to be fire.
Oh my, oh my. If that didn't get you up this morning, I don't know what will. I am so happy to know that we've got some folks who are not selfish with their talents, gifts, abilities, and skills that God has endowed them with. They're willing to share, willing to help you help you. Oh my goodness, there's a teachable moment right there. How can I help you help you? Well, we're going to learn all about it. Just want to welcome someone who's making themselves known, John Werner. Hey, John. John says, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Looking forward to the conversation. John, so glad you're here as always. Your support is appreciated. And with that said, I want to now bring to the stage well, I'll just say it like this. He's my brother from another mother. His name is Mr. Bob Yates. Bob, come on. And let's see here. We got a little, one of our, there we go. One of our other speakers decided they wanted to pop in a little early, but we'll let her rest for just a few moments. Bob, good morning and welcome to Get Up and Get a Job. Talk to us, help us understand what in the world is going on at the end of April.
Man, I am so stoked, and it is a great time to be alive. It's the best time to be alive. And I want to thank all of you that'll be tuning in, those of you that'll be watching the replay. as you just watched that video, I mean, my haircut is better in the video than I'm going to go get my signature haircut in a minute. But anyway, something special is happening. I can't believe we're just about 2 weeks away from the Champion Speaker Boot Camp. And we've been doing this for 2 decades. And we have transformed so many lives. And I kind of go out on a limb and say that there is not another boot camp in the DMV or even on the East Coast that I know of that does what Circle of Champions does at this boot camp. Not only do we teach you and give you great content, but content is everywhere. This is not a seminar. It's not a workshop. It's a boot camp. And it's called that for a reason, because this is we teach you and you implement. We teach you and you practice. And we create a learning environment that people get paid. They come to the seminar and sometimes they made their money in the first hour of the seminar. They made the money back from the investment they made. And by the way, I do have to make an announcement here that as I was watching the video, that's one of our earlier videos. And so the $97 tickets are gone, but don't worry, we got you. If you want to come, you'll be able to come at a fraction of what this event costs. And we're going to deliver thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value. Why do we do that? Because first of all, we believe in spiritual law. Give and it shall be given unto you. The more you give away, the more you give out, the more comes back to you. So we're going to give you a great opportunity today. So I'm going to jump in because your time is important. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day out. I know many people are going to want to get out and enjoy the sunshine here in DC. And so we're going to jump right in. So right now, I want to talk to you about the 5 P's of profitable public speaking. But before I do, I have to bring up my business partner we've been rolling together since 2007. She's a presentation skills coach. She has coached for companies like Disney and Tupperware and Office Depot. And there's too many to name right now. She coaches and teaches around the country, mainly with corporations. And so she's going to be here to support and be a part of this here. So let's bring to the stage my business coach, my presentation skills coach, and your coach, Annetta Wilson. Let's bring her to the stage.
Good morning. How are you?
What is up? Coming in from Orlando today.
Florida. Yes, it's gorgeous here, hence the short sleeves.
Hey, well, look, we can compete with you today on the weather. Trust me, we got a good one lined up. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And I also have another guest. Annetta's going to be talking a little bit about storytelling today, as well as presentation skills. And then we have Malika Starr, who's in her car. Malika Starr is in her car. She's going to be talking about how to grow your social media following. So let's clap it up for her. Let's welcome her. Come on up, Malika Starr. And of course, our gracious host. I'm not going to talk too much until I see my host back up here, because he's the man. William Craig is my friend. He's a business partner. He's our AI coach. He's been coaching at Circle of Champions. And for those of you that don't know Circle of Champions, you can go over to circleofchampions.com or cocuniversity.com. We have an online platform that is loaded with hundreds of our teachings, coachings, and trainings. So I'm going to jump right in because people's time is important. So I want to talk to you about the 5 P's of profitable public speaking today. And we're only going to deep dive on one. So I'm going to give you the 5. I don't normally do this, but then we're going to deep dive on the one that I think is most important, which is the foundation of anybody that's going to build a speaking business. If you've ever wanted to grow a speaking business, I'm not talking about just doing presentations, but I'm talking about you want to build a business, then there are 5 things you need. Number 1 is you're going to need a presentation. And we like to call it your signature presentation. When you think about your signature, when you go to sign a check, there's not anybody on the planet that really should be able to easily duplicate your signature. When I was young, I used to write my signature real nice and pretty. And I learned that, that's not necessarily how most people actually create a signature. You scribble your signature. Sometimes we don't even know what it says. But the thing about it is hard to duplicate. So when you have a signature talk, a signature presentation, it's that one presentation that only you can give. Why only you can give it? Because it's not just content. It's your story. It's your perspective. It's how you've been molded. It's your ideas. It's your illustrations. And this signature presentation, once you put that together and perfect it, now you don't need to change your audience. I mean, your act, you change your audience. You can take that signature presentation anywhere. And there are people like Les Brown that you know that has created a signature presentation. And in that presentation is his signature story: drink, rock, drink, right? So it's like every one of us has something that's unique and special, your own journey that you put into this presentation, and it's like a recipe. At the boot camp, we're going to talk to you about the anatomy of a presentation. I think it's really important to understand that a presentation is not just someone getting up and just talking and rambling. It's a part one, a part two, a part three. We're going to break that down. And Annetta Wilson, who's on the screen, is going to talk about that. So I'll give you the other five now, but we're going to deep dive on signature presentation. So number one is presentation, if you want to build a business. Number two is product. Number three is packaging. Number four is pricing. And number five is promotion. And I do have I have 12 of those P's, but we're only talking about 5 today. So let me kick it over to Annetta, and let's talk about signature presentations and why they are so important.
Thank you, Bob. Everybody, as you said, everybody has a unique signature. Well, everything about you is unique, and your talk is no different. Your signature talk is that thing that you become known for. What is it when they hear your title or they see you coming that they know what your unique niche is, what your gift is, what you share with the world, and what you teach? And your signature talk is that thing. It does two things. It sets you apart from anyone else, and it gives you a lot of space to create, not only your talk, but things that go with it: courses, workshops, videos, audios. The sky is the limit. You're not run of the mill. You're not part of the crowd. So nothing you do should be part of the crowd. And that's what your signature talk does. It's also something that if you're called at the last minute to speak because someone has canceled, and whoever has invited you to an event knows that you've got a talk you can do just like that. It's something you can keep in your hip pocket no matter where you are. You may create other things. You may talk about other things. You may teach other things, but that signature talk is as unique as you are. And we teach you how to figure out what yours is, because some of you may be going, well, I don't know what I would talk about. That's what you're going to learn at the boot camp. And you're going to get lots of support from everyone in the room and all the coaches like Bob and me who are going to be there.
Yeah, so well said. And one of the things that I love about signature talks, I ask my members sometimes, what is something that you have that no one else on the planet has? And there's a lot of things that come up. But when I ask you this, Annetta, does anybody have your voice?
No, I sound a little like my mom, but it's not.
I hear you, right? Does anyone else have your personality?
No.
Guess what? In your signature talk, the one thing you cannot leave out is you. Like, content is everywhere. Everybody has their 3 steps to this and their 5 steps to this and all of that. Right. But look, I want you, when you come to the boot camp, you get a chance to practice in an environment where people pay you for your practice. I mean, how good is it to get paid to practice, right?
In the room, not after you leave. In the room, you get paid.
Yeah, but you got to bring your humor, your corny jokes. Annetta, you always like it when I get silly.
Yes, I
That's
do.
a part of, look, part of public speaking is it is self-expression. It is expressing your personality and doing you. So what I
And
always tell people is that no matter who comes up before you, because we're going to have a lineup of speakers, when you get up, you just do you. You wanted to say something.
yes, because people tend to think, well, I can't speak in public because I don't have it all together. It's not perfect. It's got to be perfect before I do it. Well, there are no straight lines, perfect lines in nature. Everything bends and curves, and that's what creates the beauty. Today, people want real, authentic, show me the chinks in your armor presenters. Slick and polished worked in the 80s and in the 90s. It's a non starter today. So the more real you are, the more you show everybody those places where you haven't quite made it. Because we say people are more attracted to your messes than your successes. We teach you how to take all of that and make it work for you.
Hey, that's well said. So look, one of the things that we want to help everyone, you mentioned the word authenticity. I
Mhm.
think it takes time to develop. I think that it takes you having the courage to be different, to dare to be different. So William, I want to come over to you for a moment because at the last boot camp, you were our after lunch speaker. And I'm very careful about who I put after lunch because people come back, man, they just went and ate a burger. They can easily go to sleep if you have a boring after lunch speaker. So I said we're gonna put William there. And what's for those of you that just have never been to our boot camp before, I had never seen William in this being himself mode. It's like, who is this? I mean, I've known him for a long time, but he was funny. He was challenging the audience. He was teaching us AI and how to generate $1,000 in 30 days using AI, which he's going to be teaching at this boot camp. And you know what? It works. What he taught, I did it. I'm not an AI consultant. I hadn't been in AI very long. I went out and made $1,000 probably in about 7 days. So I know it can be done. So, William, I want your take on signature talks, signature presentations. I know you have one. What was your first one, maybe, and what is a signature talk for you now?
Wow. Well, Bob, I appreciate so much the opportunity to share the stage with the great ones like you and Annetta that have literally traveled the globe physically and virtually to share this gift of how do you speak to make impact? A lot of people speak and they just make noise, but you all coach around how to speak and give impact. And it's that impact that I've found that can make, as you would say, dollars and cents. It doesn't just make sense. It makes dollars and cents. I beat you to it today.
I know you
So
got
look,
it.
but in all seriousness, I started speaking at an early age and realized that this was just something that God had placed inside of me. And uh, but I shied away and got distracted. Life has its distractions, and I didn't realize the power of having your own voice. Oh my goodness, I want to say that again.
Yeah.
I did not realize the power of having my own voice. And once I decided not to try and be everybody else that I was hearing that I loved Les Brown. And for a long time, I would laugh like Les Brown. I would close like Les Brown. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, to be with you today. But what I found was that when I showed up as William Craig III, there were people who liked me. And I once had a woman say, and she wasn't my wife, but she said, I could listen to your voice all night long. Well,
Okay.
that
I
right there
like
gets
that.
in trouble,
I've heard
right?
that one too.
But the point was, it helped me to realize that the flaws and inconsistencies that I saw in myself were invisible to others because they heard a message that was impactful to them. And so that's what I'm looking to bring to this champion speaker boot camp, is a voice that says, guess what? AI is out here. And you guys know I have a YouTube, on my YouTube channel every day, 12 noon Eastern. I go live with daily AI prompts for job seekers. But one of the things that I also want people to know is that they can use AI to actually generate income. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the preview if you'd like, but certainly that's one of the big pieces that I'm excited about. And I know I'm a little biased, but really I'm excited about changing lives through the use of AI to generate income in a short period of time.
Well, it's going to happen, folks. I can tell you, he did this at Circle of Champions. We did a couple of virtual ones, and we did the live one. And I'm all in on AI. I have my own lane that I'm in. Mine is more video marketing. And I think for those that are coming, you need to look at AI as not something that is optional. It's just figuring out what AI tool and AI lane can help speed up what you're doing, can save you time, energy, and money, and it's not going away. And it's fascinating to me. That's why I really feel like this is the best time to be alive. You mentioned something that I want to go back to when you said it's a plum pleasing pleasure, because that's what Les Brown, that's part of his signature. He closes, that's a signature close.
Yes.
And so there are things and elements that most presenters, I would say, unless you've been trained, unless you've been taught, then you don't know what you don't know. But once you have one solid signature presentation, and I'll tell you, I have many now. I have a signature presentation for marketing. I have a signature presentation for creating a signature presentation. I have a signature presentation for product creation. See, as you grow, like I have a story, for instance, of how this basement that I'm in, and I apologize, my camera is not as clear as I want it to be right now because I have my green screen back here covering that, because this is a studio. This studio right here that I'm in, one day I was thinking about putting a deck on the back of my home, and I'm a believer. I'm somebody that believes God still speaks. And so he spoke to me not to do that. Don't put the deck on the back of your home. Take this unfinished space in your basement and turn it into a training place for my people. That one instruction changed my entire life. I'm not over exaggerating. I didn't put the deck on my home. I took this, it was concrete. And if I was in presentation mode right now, I'd walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through it at the boot camp. We took 3 months to build out this basement and create this space. Long story short, from this home, I started having 5-figure nights just with 20, 30 people in here, because 20, 30 people can fit in here. I remember the night, for those of you that want to make money speaking, imagine this. I started off selling a $5 cassette tape. That kind of takes you back to where my beginning was. $5 cassette tape. And the first and most important sale I ever made in my speaking career was selling that cassette tape. Because what it said to me was that people were connecting with not just my content, but people were connecting with me. They couldn't take me home with them, so they wanted to take my message home with them. So I expanded that and then started creating more products, albums with 6 cassettes, and then cassettes went away, CDs came in. And as you notice, the world is constantly changing. So now the medium is different than it was 10 years ago. But what I wanted to say is that this room, I now call it my $1 million room, because I made my first million because I didn't put the deck on my home, because I took this unfinished space, turned it into a training place, and the rest is history. We did meetings every Thursday for about not even 6 months, longer than that. And I followed an instruction. Now, the question is, what I just shared with you is a signature story. Like nobody else has that particular story of they were going to put a deck on the back of that house. I was going to turn this into a movie room, like some people did, like some people do. But God said, take that unproductive space, turn it into a training place. And so I have a message out on TikTok right now called, what do you have in your house? I know I'm getting a little preachy right now. I'm going to take this back home in a minute. But what do you have in your house? I had something in my house that I could turn into an asset. And this is how I launched my speaking business, Circle of Champions. So that's what a signature story is. It's just one of them. I have many of them, and you have many of them. So I want to come to Malika real quickly, and we'll bring her up. I want to ask Malika, because she talks about social media and growing your social media following. She's going to talk about that at the boot camp, whether we bring her in virtual or not. We're working on her scheduling. So if Malika's still there, I want to bring her up. And I want to talk to you for a minute. Hey there, out there in Atlanta. I know it's beautiful weather today. I want to talk to you. I'm going to switch it up a little bit with you. I want to talk to you about how we helped you do your first boot camp. Because there are those of you, or seminar, there are those of you that are listening. If you really want to blow this thing open, if you really want to help people at scale, if you really want to make impact like nothing else, if you have the courage to throw your own event, and in the beginning, I'm not talking about hundreds of people. I have people that I trained, their first event, they had 10 people. One person had 4. That person has gone on to make millions and millions of dollars as a speaker because they were willing to look bad. They were willing to flop. They were willing to fail. And that man's name is Steve DeCosta. He's one of my diamond members, who was not the best speaker in the room. He would sweat when he would speak, and he sweated his way to his first $300,000 a year, and then to his first million, and then many millions after that. So Malika was one of the people that took the challenge when I offered an opportunity for people to throw their first boot camp or seminar, and I would help them. Malika, describe the before, during, and after emotion of doing your first live event. What did it feel like? Were you happy, excited? Were you nervous? Walk us through that.
Well, thank you, Bob, of course, for having me online. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, no train noise?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, great. So I want to say first, I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity to be in a risk-free setting, because you built the stage for me. You made it possible, and all I had to do was put the butts in the seats. All I had to do was sell it. Hey, this is what I'm teaching, and this is what you'll benefit if you show up. And we had 10 people in the room, I believe, but the way you set it up it was packed. It was sold out.
Yeah.
We sold out my first event, right?
Yes.
With this
Yes.
10 people. But it's because you meticulously know how to set the stage. You know how to accommodate what, I'm sure if it was 4 people for Steve, it was sitting room only, and I think those details that we don't think about when we think about hosting events, I didn't have to worry about. So my nerves did not come with how it was going to turn out, but were my people going to receive what we were giving to them?
Yes, yes.
And they did, because we had about 2 or 3 people sign up for COC, become COC members because of it. And I actually had social media clients afterwards. And so you made it a comfortable space where I didn't have to be nervous. I didn't have to be jittering. I didn't have to work out the logistics with the hotel. All I had to do was show up with my people. And I thank you for that, because now I'm down here in Atlanta, and I'm like, Bob needs to be here with me. I feel like, because the nervousness is now stepping out on faith and doing it myself.
Yeah, and that's a real thing when you have someone that can help you. Look, if somebody can pull all the distractions away, the hardest part, putting butts in seats and picking a venue and what you're going to charge and getting people to register and landing pages and all of that, because it is a lot, but the payoff is so high. That's why I do it. I love live events more than I love doing any form of speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
And that coaching, I believe the coaching that came prior prepared me. So I was part of Speakers Boot Camp. Annetta trained me on how to ask the right questions. I I learned how to speak in front of the classroom because in our speaker boot camp, if we must bring it back up again, I was for the longest time, I know I'm going to give it to Bob. I was the highest paid speaker in the class because of the coaching that received in the classroom. I received that $95 in 1 minute
1 minute.
and 1 minute, but it was because I was coached. So you walk away with, I walked away with, at that time, what was my initial investment to even be in the room? Like, who does that? But it's because if you have a story inside of you with the right guidance, it can help your message become so profound that you can move people. And I didn't ask anybody for a dime. You know what I mean? It's
No,
just
you
that
didn't.
I told my story, and because I had the right coach behind me, right? I had Annetta, I had Bob, I had the right setting. That was another. I don't know how you pack out the rooms, but you do. Every room I've ever been to with you has always been seating, standing, floor room only.
This one's going to be too. We're at 75% capacity right now, and we've got 2 weeks.
And I
So
am still inviting my friends. I'm like, listen, if you want to learn how to speak, if you want to learn, you know God has put something inside of you and a message inside of you that can move other people to change their lives for impact, to a positive message. I I am a living testimony. It's changed my life. It's changed the way I do things. I stepped out on faith. One. I do a live show as we speak on social media. I, I was one of the first people on Facebook to have 5,000 friends. I have a Facebook group that I started, Speak About Changing Stories. When I was pregnant with and on bed rest, it was around the first recession. I came up with a Facebook group to help people find jobs in the middle of the recession. We weren't going to speak about business opportunities. It would be straight real life jobs. At first, it stayed stuck around 600 people, but then the cat blew off, and all of a sudden, it went viral, and we have 22,000 people in that room, in that group on Facebook. That's my Facebook success story.
yeah,
I've got 7,000 people on Instagram. I had to restart my Facebook page, and even still in the last year, I'm about 2,500 people. Now, just think about that, Bob. On a grand scale of things, using the law of numbers, if I was on Facebook and even at 2,500 people, if I was showing up to make money and I offered a product,
for
and
one
let's
day.
say 10% of that, but that's the impact, and that's what I teach about the strategy of social media. Social media is not evil. Social media is now the best way to add, one of the best ways to advertise your business, which is why now even the big stores, the big companies now all have social media pages, and they're all running ads because we watch our phones more than we watch television now.
That's right. This is the new ABC, NBC, Fox. This is it right here. And the average adult looks at their phone about every 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes more than that. So this is where you want to be. I love everything you said about how you started and grew your social media following. One of the things we're going to talk about at the boot camp is turning those followers into enthusiastic buyers. Look, there's money there. For a long time, I thought, I'm not, it's not really, I've tried ads and I've done this and that and the other, but I've made money without ads. My first social media sale was $1,200 from one client.
Absolutely.
And it's like, that's my first one. It's like, oh, people
And
do
now I
that.
get paid. Facebook sends me a check once a month. I'm
Okay.
going to teach that. I am going to teach that.
Well, I look forward to it. You froze on the screen. So I want to bring everyone back up for the next portion of this. And so if all of us can come to the stage for a moment, I want to have a conversation with my team here. And man, who you work with is so amazing. Each one of us have our own specialty, our own quirkiness, our own, no, not quirkiness. We have our own personality, and it's just fun when you are doing this type of business with people that you enjoy. You know, for every year up until COVID, we went on an excursion. Circle of Champions would take our group and we'd go to some island, we'd go to some beach, we'd go in Cancun. We did 3 years in a row. And we were planning our next one, and COVID hit, so we couldn't do it. But in 2027, we're bringing that back. But my purpose for bringing this up is when we did our Cancun weekend event, there were people that had never spoken internationally. And we created that platform for them to be able to do that. If you are a speaker or an aspiring speaker, Malika just said it. If you have a coach, some people say there's no shortcuts to success. Well, the ones that I have found that are shortcuts is mentors. When you have a mentor or a coach, it can save you years. So the 5 P's, let's go to the next one real quickly. I want to just talk about product for a minute, because there's those of you that you have a message, say you have your signature message, but you don't have a product to offer. And why is that important? Because people cannot get from you in a 1-hour presentation all that you have to offer. So it's our duty to create ways for people to continue to learn with us. You do not want a customer, you want clients, you want students, you want people that you can take to the promised land. Like what Malika just said, where they have their own now, they're doing it on their own. So when it comes to product creation, both of you all have created products. Everyone here has. Anyone want to speak to what having products that support your signature talk does for you and for those who follow you?
Well, I'll speak to that, Bob. And when we talk about products, we're not talking about a physical thing or even a digital thing, because courses and workshops and coaching and advising, those are products too of your business. So, and even if you don't have a business, if someone has asked you for advice on something and you've given them a remedy and it works, that's a product. Now, how do you monetize it? So Bob's going to speak to that. But for me, it was creating products that people could access after I taught, coaching that people could invest in after I did a training. All of that's product. And the market lets you know what you need to create next. Because if some of you are sitting there going, I don't have a clue, I don't know, I don't have a talk, I don't know the first place to get started, I use social media, but I do it for personal reasons, we're going to clear up all of that fog. What do I do with AI? Can I just let AI do it? Those are tools, but who is doing it? We work on this space, this 5 inches between your ears that sometimes is a monster and will try to stop you from saying, what if, well, how about this? How about that? We've got it all figured out. It's like that spaghetti sauce commercial back in the day. It's in there. We've got it all in there for you. So if you walk in confused, you don't know what a product is, the only signature you think about is the one you write, you wouldn't have any idea how to make it a talk, we've got all of that. And thank you, Malika, for talking about the value of coaching, and you, Bob, talking about the value of mentoring. All high achievers have coaches.
Yeah.
All people who are doing big things in the world, whether you call them coaches, mentors, advisors, your personal cabinet, everybody has somebody else who's already been there and done that. And for each of us, that's true. My background, 30 years in television news. reporter, producer, anchor, talk show host, and writer. So I bring those skills to bear. William is the AI master. Bob has never worked for anyone but Bob his entire life. Malika is an alchemist. She just takes lead and turns it into gold. So we've got the answers to every question you have about how to get this journey started.
Wow, man, I had 5 ways I wanted to go with everything you said. So let me start with this one. The person that says, I don't have any certifications. I don't have, who am I? Like, why would people buy my product? Well, first of all, I have a high school education. As she just said, I never worked for anybody. And I like my boss, me. But I do have a boss that's above me. And that's the greatest business partner ever. But whatever things that you think you don't have, I had to learn when somebody bought the first thing from me. And I remember the day that changed my life. I pulled up to a car at a stoplight and I heard my voice coming out of the car next to me. Somebody was listening to one of my products. And you know what that did for me? It's like it reminded me that right now, while we're doing this live, there are people listening to my stuff right now. There are people at COC University right now, and so my legacy is to leave 5,000, 10,000 pieces of content out there so that my voice just never leaves the planet. And that's really important. I want to encourage everyone. You can leave a legacy with your voice. But here's the other thing I wanted to say about what you just said. She said 30 years in news as a news reporter. When it comes to public speaking, you have to find, number one, what kind of speaker are you? I'm going to go over the 8 different kinds of speakers. You need to know what is your platform. What platform would fit you best? Everybody can't be a podcaster. Everybody is not a keynote speaker. Everybody is not a trainer to run a boot camp. Everybody's not a reporter. Oprah did hers on TV. She talk show. Everybody has their own lane. And when God set this thing up, he made it so that you can shine when you find your lane, your path, your platform, your signature talk, your audience that's waiting for you. It is amazing that this is the one business that you can get paid for just being yourself. And if you find your lane, then the Red Sea will part for you. We're going to help you to find that. So, William, I want to open this up for you to say whatever's in your heart right now, because we're talking about product creation right now. And I know that you are building something, a new product. I don't know what you want to tell us about that, but I know that you're building some stuff. Talk about product just for a moment.
Sure. Thank you so much. Here's the thing I do want to say, and I won't give away the Bob and Annetta definition of system, but coming to the Champion Speaker Bootcamp, if it doesn't come up in the first half of the first day, then you make sure you tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, I want to know what system is all about. Okay, I need to understand. I will say this, there's a front end and there's a back end, and I'm going to leave it right there. But that being said, having had that understanding deposited in me, it has helped me in building what I am building in AI. Bob mentioned the fact that I've built a product. Well, actually, I'm working on several products, but one of them is about to launch tomorrow. And here we go. You think about tomorrow being Resurrection Sunday. I look at what I'm doing as a resurrection of sorts for my business, because for a minute, my business had kind of flatlined. And I remember with one of my mentors, you guys talked about mentors, well, one of my mentors told me, he said, you don't have a money problem, you have an idea problem. And so at the end of the day, when you can allow, and what I believe, allow God to speak to you, to give you the ideas, all right, give you the plans, give you the musings that lead to a product, a service, a signature talk, then you're going to be successful. And I'm standing on the precipice. I shared with a friend of mine that for years, the scripture that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children is something that I've grappled with because I've said, I have two lovely grandchildren. Bob found out that I spend time coloring with my granddaughter, but I had two lovely grandchildren, and for me, it was all about, okay, what is it that I have that I can leave so that my granddaughter and my grandson can eat off of it, if you will. And for so many months and even a few years now, because she's 5 years old, he's 2, this has been on my heart. Well, guess what? Now I'm at the place where I'm able to touch it. And that excites me to no end because it's not just about me and mine, but it's about, and as I opened with this earlier, it's about making an impact. And I will definitely at the the champion speaker boot camp boot camp, I will share more about the launch, and by that time there will be something else that will have been launched as well. But I just got to tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Did I say I was excited? I'm excited about the time in which we live. And Bob alluded to this earlier. We are living in a time, as I like to say now, where technology has finally caught up to my imagination. Oh man, there's a t-shirt moment right there.
Yeah, it is.
Technology has finally caught up to my imagination. And I understand, and I hope you that are watching this understands that, as Napoleon Hill said it, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And we are living in that era now where technology can help you achieve whatever the product looks like that you want to build. And guess what? There's somebody out there to buy it. Can we say pet rock? And I'm going to leave that right there, Bob.
There you go. I love it. I love it. There's this thing called YouTube. Have y'all heard of it? YouTube. And I think that's a great name, YouTube. It allows you to look, you can set up your own TV show, you got your own channel. Imagine what it used to cost to be able to do that and to have a global audience. It's crazy to think about that you can do that nowadays and you can be yourself and get paid to do it. And so you said something about believing just now. You know what I find? One of the biggest challenges for most that are listening, and for many of you, you need to go over to circleofchampions.com. Like right now, we're going to bring it up on the screen shortly and register for the boot camp. We have a limited number of 147 tickets, $147 tickets left. All the 97 was early bird. That's gone. But 147 is actually a giveaway. We're still giving. We're talking 3 days live and in person. This is not virtual. Now, nobody knows this yet, but I'm thinking about next week, starting Monday, is to offer some virtual tickets. Now, that's for those of you that are out of town and cannot make it to the DMV, because I can tell you this, the people that would watch this virtually would not be able to get the impact of the people that are in the room. Me and Annetta had an interesting conversation when she was dating. And Annetta said to me, she's going to laugh. She don't know about this. She don't know I'm going to say that you can do everything virtual, pretty much that you can do live. Because it's true when it comes to seminars and workshops. But I asked her this question. Her fiance lived in Wisconsin and she lived in Orlando. I said, would you rather have a virtual date with him, Michael, or would a physical date be better? And she got the point. It's like, wait a minute, virtual is great, but it cannot trump being in the room.
Yes. And because I took your advice and made sure I was in the room, Michael is now my husband. Not
hello.
That is a perfect analogy. I was talking to someone about, doing everything through all the technology that we have now versus being eyeball to eyeball with someone. It's like cooking. You can have a stack of cookbooks and recipes, but if you don't know how to put it together, then what you're going to make is a mess and not a masterpiece. So it works hand in hand. Yes, AI can do a beautiful speech for you. You can have a YouTube channel. You can be an Instagram master. And I love, don't get me wrong, I love technology because it helps you get your message out there. But at some point, you got to do this with another human being. Who is showing up when you show up?
We all met in a room. We all met
Yes,
at some event somewhere, all of us.
yes. And
Yeah.
so we work with that part of you too. So many people have imposter syndrome. I can't do this. Somebody said I'd never be this. Who do I think I am to try to do this? If you're having those thoughts, you definitely need to be at the boot camp because we work on your head too.
So the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome, I'm bringing in an expert. You haven't met her yet, Annetta. Looking forward to you meeting her. You haven't met her either, William. But we're going to do a section on imposter syndrome because a lot of people face that, and the self-doubt. And I think this is what takes most potential, could be fantastic speakers out. And many times they come around, but they lost 10 years.
Well, Bob,
Doubting
I
themselves.
have an interesting little short story. You and William talked about Les Brown, who is perhaps one of the most popular motivational speakers of our generation. I asked him, do you ever get nervous? And he said, all the time. And I'm like, you are kidding me. He said, the day that I'm not nervous, it means I don't care about my audience.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a beautiful way to turn around using nerves as an excuse not to do something.
He also said that for 13 years, he wouldn't do what he's doing today because he didn't believe in himself. And his coach, Mike, whoever his coach is, this gentleman who coached him, believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. And
And
sometimes
that's what we will do.
what's that?
That's what we will do for
Yeah,
everyone.
sometimes you need that. When Steve would sweat every time, I believed in him, but he told me I want to do it till I don't sweat no more. And he was still sweating while he was making having his first $300,000 a year. How many of you would sweat and go ahead and generate $300,000 in a year?
I'll bring a towel. I will bring a towel.
Sign me up. Hey, look, people used to bring tissue just for Steve.
Right.
And the last time we were speaking, somebody said, you were there. He said, no, I got this. He still sweats sometimes, but he doesn't care anymore.
The other thing too, there are probably people out there, and I'm talking to you, if you work for someone else right now, this will still benefit you because you're in meetings, you got to be forward facing with clients, you've got so many audiences internally, externally, and you've got to make a name for yourself or make sure you stand out. So even if you're not, I don't want to have a speaking career. Tell me how you get anything done without communicating with another human being. Whether you are meeting with one person or you're speaking to 1,001 people in a room, all of the skills that you need, we teach at the boot camp. So it's not like you have to take them and use them for speaking. You can use them for life.
Can I add to that really quick, Anita? Because I think being in the Spooker boot camp even helped me interview better for jobs. Like, because my posture was different. A lot of times when I'm just having conversations with my friends, I can be lazy in my speech. However, when it's time to present myself, I can articulate better. I know how to breathe. I know how to pause and listen. So being in the speaker boot camp not just helped me be on a stage, but it also helped me present myself again in interviewing and the presentation because as a project manager, I am before the stakeholders all of the time, not just my coworkers and colleagues, but the contractors we serve, the professional organizations we represent. So it means I have to speak a certain type of way in order to get my message across, but to maintain my professionalism. And so this these techniques help you in your professional career as well. So I just want to say I'm a witness on both sides of the scale of how it's helped me professionally, but how it's also helped me make additional funds as an entrepreneur. And I'm what they call a workpreneur. I work a full-time job, but yet I build my empire at night. So for
That.
those people that are still on that teeter-totter, and then you just never know when, like, when you may get laid off. And I remember when having a government job was secure. And so now we're living in a day and age where we don't have that security, and you need to have a backup plan. So that
Yeah.
plan B, you can start preparing now, because prior preparation prevents poor performance. And so if you're prepared when the storm comes, you are already prepared. You either have the bunker, you have the umbrella, the raincoat, you have what you need to protect you in a storm. And I believe that this training that we receive at the boot camp is not just about becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a speaker. It's about improving who you are as a person. And I
Mhm.
believe there was some nuggets that we learned that we could apply to our lives, to our home lives, to our professional lives, and of course, yes, if you want to become a speaker, that is your desire.
That's
You start
beautiful.
now.
Yeah, thank you for
You know,
sharing that.
well,
And
Bob, you mentioned earlier that.
let me jump in for 1 second.
Okay.
William, I'm aware that we have a few minutes left. Did you put an
Yes.
end time on this?
Yes, we've got about 3 minutes left, Bob. A little over 3 minutes.
Okay. And is that a hard stop?
Well, no, it's not.
If you can give us some five minutes of grace, because there's somebody.
As I said, no, it's not.
Okay, great. Because there's somebody's destiny about to be changed. I know that. And I want to make sure that we help them to get on board with this. So we're not going to drag it out, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I'm aware of the time. Go ahead, Annetta. Go ahead,
I
Annetta.
wanted to say too, you mentioned earlier that the space that I'm in is corporate. What we're teaching you will work no matter what space you're in. So please don't limit what you think you can learn by where you are right now and what you know right now.
And I want to just say this last thing about words. You were talking about, Annetta, how we can't get anything really done without communication. There's like four levels of income. And what drives that, if you look at the first level, is the person that's the technician or the implementer, right? They do the work. So you have a stock clerk doing the work. You have a Uber driver driving the car. You have the person doing the thing. The second level is management. So somewhere in that store, there's a stock clerk stocking the shelves, but there's a manager somewhere managing systems, processes, people, etc. That's level two. Level three is the communicator. Now, when you get into communication, it's not even just public speaking. If you look at all of the artists that are on stage singing, rapping, whatever, that is communication. And so it's the highest paid skill, but there's one above it, but there's the highest paid skill because of the impact that communication has. The Bible says in the beginning was the word. And there's something about words. Words are spiritual. You can't get married without saying I do. You got to confess, if you believe in Jesus as your Lord, to be saved. So words are spiritual. And that's why communication is so powerful. It can change, it can save a divorce. It can stop somebody from committing suicide. We've had one of our YouTubers that actually their message stopped somebody from committing suicide. This is how powerful words are. So if you want to level up, you want to level up in your communication, because this is the highest paid skill. And whatever you have that God, the message God has given you, if you're listening to this, there's something in you that's telling you it's my time to speak. And I'm here to tell you, it is your time to speak. Your audience is waiting. Nobody can do it like you or for you. I'm so glad I answered the call. I answered the call to speak. I even have something on my wall right here. It says born to speak. That was the name of one of my first seminars. So I want to encourage those that are listening, if you haven't gone over to Circle of Champions to grab one of those last tickets, and I'm telling you, there's probably 9 tickets available at the 147, and that's it, because we are almost at capacity. It's a steal. You should take it. I encourage you to go over to Circle of Champions and do that. So that 4th level, and I just gave you 3. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, William. That 4th level is the visionary, the imaginer, the ideapreneur. Think about behind every great company, there is a visionary somewhere, somebody that saw something. I saw Circle of Champions. God gave me a vision of an organization of entrepreneurs and speakers and trainers and authors and coaches and content creators that would change the world. And my mission is to mobilize them. My mission is to bring them out of hiding. My mission is to empower them with the tools and with the knowledge and with the structures and with the systems to do it. And there are a lot of speaker trainers out there, and I applaud all of them that answered the call. But there are a remnant of people that God has called to Circle of Champions, and you may be one of them. So if you're listening today on this Saturday, April 4th, beautiful Saturday, you're not here by chance. And I want to encourage you to answer the call to adventure, to answer the call to speaking, to answer the call to writing, to answer the call to level up your communication. And so you can bring that back up, William. Go over to circleofchampions.com. And I want you to scroll down a little bit. Let me show them where they can actually get the tickets that are on sale. And I want to encourage you, for those of you that are watching, watch that video right there. That video is powerful. And we'll scroll down a little bit more. That tells you a little bit about what we're going to be teaching. Here's another video. And what I'm doing with each of these videos is I'm giving value. I'm sowing seed. And right there, you have your 147 option or your 197 option. Anyone that does the 197 option, I'm upgrading you to VIP. And what that means is that I'm going to bring you up on stage and I'm going to let people know who you are and what you do. So that's the 197 level. I'm going to upgrade you. That's not written there, but I will tell you, if you go register at the 197, then 2 things you're going to get. 1, I'm going to interview you. And then 2, you're going to get my program called Speaking for Profit. So now scroll down a little bit more, William. I want to show them one other thing on this page. For those of you that right there, this is some video that I did with using AI. And I want to show you how to start marketing and using AI to grow your business. And so those are AI. I want y'all to listen to those. They're super powerful. And I have this mini twin that I created that people are telling me that is the coolest thing, for you to have this little mini version of you that has conversations with you. So I want you to listen to that. If you want to learn how to do that, that's something you're going to want to learn from me, because I will be the best person to teach you this. That's my secret sauce. And then scroll down a little bit more. I'm going to take you down to almost to where it says self-doubt. So scroll down. Thank you, sir. That's me and Malika doing some conversations. That 97 is gone. So keep going down a little bit. Oh, stop right there. I'm sorry. Stop right. The 2 videos right there. Go back up a little bit. There we go. So one of these videos right there is I talk about how I generated $1.5 million starting with a $5 cassette tape. This story is not something you get out of a book. They don't teach the stuff that I teach in college. This is real life, what I really did. And part of being a dynamic communicator is when you are communicating and talking about things that you have actually lived. You want to know how to be powerful? That's it right there. It's not about theory. It's not about teaching from someone else's book. I'm teaching in an institute right now, an accredited course. And they asked me what book was I going to use to teach the course. I said, my life, what I've actually done. Because I could teach out of somebody else's book. That's not going to be authentic for me. So I want to teach you that. That second video right next to it is 4, I think I can't read it, but I know I teach 4 things that I would teach or coach someone in if they were becoming a professional speaker. So those videos are free, and I want you to take advantage of them. So now let's bring this, let's land this plane. Thank you so much. So at circleofchampions.com. Today, each week, as we get closer to the event, the prices change. So those prices will end probably this weekend. But for those of you that do the 197, I'm bonusing that in right now for those of you. And guess what else? For some of you that might have already purchased a ticket, today only, if you do the 197, you can bring a guest. So it's like you're getting your ticket for half price. You can bring a guest. They can pay the other half, but you can bring a guest. So now with that, first of all, I want to thank my team for showing up. This has been rich. William, I have to thank you, man, because yesterday I called and I asked you if you could stream this for us. I know that it's people on LinkedIn that are listening in. There's people on YouTube and people on Facebook. And we want you to win. And let me just say this. I don't know about you, but when you get to a certain age, you start thinking about life a little different. I'm a youngin'. I'm still a youngin'. So are y'all. But I'm thinking about life different now. I don't have time to waste. I don't have another year to think about it anymore. Like, it's like, pull out the stops, take some risk, do some things you've never done. Make this your most adventurous year. There are people that are going to come into my life this year that I have never met, that have never experienced our boot camp, and they don't even know that their life is about to change. This will be the catalyst. This will be the thing they'll look back 5 years from now and they'll say it was the Champion Speaker Boot Camp. That's where it happened. That's where I saw a learning system. Watch the room when you come in. We're creating an environment that's just going to blow your mind. So any final words from anyone here? Anything bubbling up that you want to say in closing? And then we're going to wrap this and go and have an amazing day. I'm getting ready to go get my signature haircut.
I think we need to let Malika speak because she has to run.
Okay.
So before I leave, first of all, I want to thank you, Bob, for giving me, Annetta, and William the opportunity to shine, and so many others. I have watched countless people start at your Circle of Champions and grow from there on massive stages, earning millions of dollars, far superseding even what we could think or imagine. I believe the time is now. I believe that people, if you have, stop procrastinating, people. That's all I really got to say. And invest in yourself. I spent $40, $50, $60,000 going to college to get a degree that still hasn't, has barely made me $50,000, $60,000. But the information that you learn here and becoming a part of Circle of Champions, there's no limit. The only thing holding you back from being the best version of you or receiving what God has for you, because even the Bible says we have to study to show ourselves approved. So missing this opportunity, you're discrediting yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can show up and see for yourself, because I've seen the difference that it has made in countless people's lives. And I'm looking forward to growing, and the stages that I'm on now is because of the preparation that I went through Bob Yates, Annetta, William, Circle of Champions, and being able to meet, having a product in the back of the room, but developing a service, being able to do a presentation. I now teach annually book writing classes at my church. I would not have even been able to put the presentation together had it not for sitting in one of Bob's master classes on how to present and close the room. And so I just want to say before I leave, you're in trusted hands. I know there are so many people that make promises that cannot deliver. I've been with Bob now for about 10 years. And I just want to say I've never been let down. I always learn something new. So if you've been to a class or a boot camp before, I want to tell you every time I show up, I learn something different. And that's because Bob is always learning and bringing it back to us. So
Thank you.
With that being said, I'm going to land my mic. I want you guys to have a super day. Happy Resurrection weekend.
Yes.
And may the dead bones in your life rise.
Hey,
Okay, because
God
these bones
bless you.
tickling
Bless
me.
you.
Bye
Thank
Bye,
you.
bye.
Thank you for
Malika.
joining us. Hey, William, I'm going to kick it back over to you. This is your show, and thank you for the extra minutes of grace. And
No,
kick
no,
it back
this is our time. We're family. Here, I'm going to allow someone who joined us to share, to say what I want to say.
over.
Says thank you, William, Bob, Malika, and Annetta, for sharing your time, experience, and insights. The 5 P's of public speaking are powerful. Communication is the new currency,
Love that.
and no matter what way in which you are communicating, it is the new currency. It just
Mhm.
means that you may need to learn how to present, how to communicate in a different way. Thanks.
Like a champion. Communicate
Yes,
like a champion. Speak like a champion. Talk
yes.
like a champion.
And
That's what you're going to get from the boot camp.
if not you, who?
Yes.
If not when, if not now, when?
Win, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate everybody that took some time out on your Saturday to be here. And if you want some free stuff, and I love to give away free stuff, if you go over to cocuniversity.com, that stands for Circle of Champions, cocuniversity.com, you're going to see that it's a membership site, but there's a tab that says VIP special. You click on that. I got some free stuff for you. No stuff, teachings on marketing, teachings on sales, teachings on making money. It's all there for you. Take advantage of it for free. And thank you again for joining us today.
Would you give that address one more time, Bob?
So that's COC University. Can I put that in the chat? Well, I guess not. I guess it doesn't need to be in the chat, but cocuniversity.com. cocuniversity.com. But when you get there, it's going to ask you for a user ID and password. But all you have to do is click on the tab. You're going to see some tabs. One of them is going to say VIP special. Click on that tab and take advantage of the free goodies. I mean, it's high level goodies too. So take advantage of it. Yep.
Go ahead, Annetta.
I just want to say to anyone who's going, well, I don't know. Most people regret the things they didn't do,
Truth.
not the things that they did. Don't let this be one of them.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for you, and we're going to give it all we have. And we've seen miracles happen in that room. We've seen people who have had breakthroughs that put them on a completely different path. Aren't you curious as to whether you can be one of them?
We had a 5-time cancer survivor at the last one.
Yes.
We had someone that had 2 heart surgeries, and they have their own businesses now based around the things that they've gone through. And the one thing that I didn't tell them, Annetta, is that we teach you several ways to tell your story.
Absolutely.
Storytelling is an art. It's not just something you just tell a story. We're going to show you ways to tell your story.
We'll be breaking that down.
Yes.
You'll never look at stories, books, movies, or TV shows the same after you learn this technique.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, look, I think that's going to do it for us today. I have been so honored to have my friends, my family in the room, Bob Yates, Annetta Wilson, and Malika Starr, letting you know what's going to be happening. A sneak preview, if you will, at the Champion Speaker Boot Camp taking place April 23rd through the 25th, right here in the DMV. And that's not the demilitarized zone. That's the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area.
But that's the Department of Motor Vehicles Department.
Not there either.
Okay.
You'll be there all day. But,
exactly.
And come away with very little, and they'll still take your money. But
Right.
look, as you see scrolling across the screen, Bob just threw in, and he always does something extra in a good way. Get your free gift. Go to cocuniversity.com. You see it on the screen as well. In case you haven't been paying attention, guess what? You can still get a ticket while they last. Where? It's right there on the screen, circleofchampions.com. Thank you so much for your being with us. And for those of you that are watching the replays, we're going to be looking forward to seeing you in the room and hearing you speak like a champion. God bless everybody.
God bless.
Bye.
You got the boot camp?